Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading for the week of April 28th. This week, we're going to jump right in here. You have this deeply rooted in love card. It says something is emerging from the depths of your most intimate desires. You have this lighthouse card. It says you're a light that can't be hidden, so don't ever try to dim it for anyone. And yes, definitely, you have Pluto in your sign. You know, as I always say to you, Aquarius, Pluto for you, I think, will be about you becoming the light or a light to the world and kind of like shining your inner light, showing the world what makes you special and all that other stuff. So, there you go. That's kind of like what I feel there. You start with the Two of Swords, the King of Swords, and the Queen of Wands. I feel like that Two of Swords is giving me like don't settle vibes or something along those lines here. So the Two of Swords sometimes I feel is like a card of mediation. It can be a card of, two sides trying to come together and, through mediation, basically. But I think with ourselves that sometimes with the Two of Swords that it's almost like we think that we can't overcome something or we can't, have something in our lives. And it's really funny that you have the Knight of Swords right next to it because sometimes I feel like the Knight of Swords gets to whatever the next card is here, the Six of Swords, and he's like running back to the past. So he is not like following through on something. And you have the Six of Swords. Now, the Six of Swords can be a little bit scary because you're going across those choppy waters. The woman and the child in that boat, they have no clue where they're going. They have no clue if when they get to the other side, if it's actually going to be better or not. And so she has choppy waters behind her as well. Sorry, I bumped this. But, she has choppy waters behind her. So it's almost like you have to kind of like get to the other side of something and also like not settle as well with the Two of Swords. I think I always say this to you, Aquarius, but I do feel that it's true that how you think things are gonna go is not true. I don't know why this keeps coming up for you, but I do think it could be important. It's like you might think like that a business is gonna go a certain way, or your career, or your love life, or whatever. But it's like things are going to go a completely different way than you think. And that, again, that shouldn't scare you. You have the Three of Wands at the end. Three of Wands is expansion. Three of Wands is adventure. Same thing when you have the Page of Wands as well. So these are all cards of like having new experiences just in general. And so I feel that you are kind of being pushed to have these new experiences in your life. And it's just saying like things are just not going to go according to plan. But I don't mean that in a bad way. I think it's more encouraging you to be spontaneous, to like be open to adventure. All that other good stuff is popping into my head. You have the King of Swords here, which could be you showing up in a very strong position, Aquarius. So sometimes I feel when people show up as themselves, it just kind of puts you in a position of power and strength, allows you to get what you want from the reading. The King of Swords kind of says you've learned a lot over the years, and now you're implementing what you learned into your life. I also feel like your vision is very clear this week. Like, he is a card of discernment. And so I feel your discernment is very good this week. So I would trust what you see. You have the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is about needing to be bold, assertive, needing to move towards the sun. As I always say, she has the sunflower right here, and it points towards the sun. She's my card of learning as you go. And we are definitely in a time where pretty much everyone is probably doing new things or looking to move in new directions, and we have to be willing to learn as we go. We just have to figure things out as we go along. The people that do that will be successful. The people that don't are going to stay where they are. And there's no judgment there either, by the way, Aquarius. Some people will, again, it's like some people won't change during this time, and that's fine too. But the Queen of Wands, I think, is definitely encouraging like some sort of change. Same with the, the Two of Swords, Six of Swords, Three of Wands, Page of Wands, all that. With the Two of Swords, you have the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like, can I handle this? Is the question that's popping into my head here with the Nine of Pentacles. I feel like the Nine of Pentacles is saying you can handle anything that comes your way. But, I feel that you might be asking yourself if you can handle something. I don't know. That's a question. I know that's not what the Nine of Pentacles represents, but I read intuitively. And, I just go with the messages I get. So I feel for a lot of you, it's like there could be new opportunities this week, and you could be wondering if you can handle it. And the Nine of Pentacles says, yes, The Nine of Pentacles is also about like where you invest your energy. She has 3 pentacles here and 6 over here. So the whole point is that she only gives 3 pentacles worth of energy to anything that enters into her life, and she always keeps enough for herself. So I do kind of feel that the Nine of Pentacles is saying, you know, it would be a great week to try new things or try anything new, but just don't overinvest. You know, make sure that you're only making small, like slow, methodical investments. And King of Swords, make sure you're paying attention to the evidence, because the King of Swords, he kind of, you know, works and he looks at the results and he just says, you know, am I getting a result or not? And if the answer is yes, then he keeps going. With the King of Swords, you have the King of Wands, which you have twice in this reading. So you have, if you do want love, there is a little bit of love here. It could be a fire sign, for sure. It could be any sign, general reading. But, you know, you have the King and Queen of Wands, which are divine counterparts, and King of Wands twice. The King of Wands with the King of Swords would be about taking action on your knowledge. The King of Swords is knowledge and wisdom. The King of Wands, he takes action on the things that he knows. So really, this would be like turning knowledge into wisdom. It's like you can know something, but until you actually do it, you know nothing. And so I feel it would be a great time if you've been learning something to take action. With the Queen of Wands, you have the World card. Yeah, it definitely could be an accomplishment, or you know, it could be multiple accomplishments coming in for you. I kind of feel like you're going to the next level. It's like, it's almost like the words I'm getting here are you're making the next commitment to something. And so you know, it's like obviously when we do things like work, business, love, whatever, you know, there are kind of like levels of commitment is what I'm getting here. So I feel like that's really what the world is talking about. I'm not really getting traditional world stuff on this card. It's more just saying to me like you're making a deeper commitment to something, or you're kind of making that next level commitment to something, and that's definitely popping into my head as well with the World card. I also have something about signing a contract or something. And so, you know, if you are signing a contract this week, it does look pretty good. And, you know, I would still be a little cautious with contracts. Like, you know, still, you know, we're still in the shadow of some of the retrogrades this week. So I would be like double check it and then have someone else double check the contract as well. But if you are signing a contract, you know, this could be good. It's kind of like I'm getting weird messages that might only apply to some of you, Aquarius, on this card. Like some of you, it's like maybe you have a job where you are a contractor. And maybe the business you work for, or like maybe if you work for someone like as a contractor, they want to hire you. It's kind of like that next level. That's what I'm getting here. So I hope that makes sense. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this card that says balance, spirituality, and practicality. You also have this card that says a personal issue reaches resolution. I think some of you could be kind of like mediating some sort of issue as well with that Two of Swords. Like I said, Two of Swords can be a card of mediation. It can be a card of like getting two sides to see something, or you know, getting two sides to an agreement. Now, normally the Two of Swords in that sense is a little bit, you know, is considered to be a little bit more challenging because it can represent, you know, someone who isn't seeing both sides, right? But I don't know, I keep getting something about mediating something. So again, if you are like dealing with something legal where there's mediation going on, or if you're just you know, trying to get someone to see your point of view or something, it could be a good week for that. I do feel that. I think this is always true, balance, spirituality, and practicality. You know, it's kind of weird to go from like Neptune and Pisces to Neptune and Aries like we just had. It's like very spiritual sign to a sign that's like less spiritual. It's always like a little bit weird. So I would definitely balance. You have the Knight of Swords, the Page of Pentacles, and the Seven of Wands. I like, just don't run away from something here is kind of what I'm getting, especially like due to not knowing, right? With the Queen of Wands. The Knight of Swords, again, he's always pointing towards the past in the reading. And sometimes I feel like he gets to a certain point and then he gets scared and he runs back to the past. So I feel like this is saying like, no, you're going in the right direction. You're making the right choices. Do not run back to the past, and you know, keep pushing forward, because you are definitely going in the right direction here. And I also feel with this energy for you, Aquarius, that it would be a good week to not like really think about your ideas. You know, I think Aquarius can sometimes get in that. Like, I'm an Aquarius rising and I'm a Mercury in Aquarius, so my thinking is Aquarian just in general. And like I always come up with ideas, and then I always like come up with all the reasons why it's not going to work, right? And so I feel like this is saying, don't think, just, if you come up with an idea, start it immediately. And this could be in any area of your life. And it doesn't mean you have to commit to it forever. You could just be trying something or testing something. And, I kind of get that feeling off that Knight of Swords. You have the Page of Pentacles. If you want love, coming up, right next to the Lovers here, he's like reaching out with this pentacle to the Lovers. So this could be a new love offer, new love connection coming in for you. The Page of Pentacles usually starts as communication. So, this could be something that starts a little bit slower, or, maybe it's just coming in with communication. The Knight of Swords would be rushing in with communication. So, I don't know, someone could be rushing communication here. Like I said, Nine of Pentacles, balance your energy. Just don't give too much up front. Take your time. And I feel things could go well if this is love. I also feel this could be just good news. It's kind of weird because this week, I've noticed again, I think I noticed this in the May readings as well, that there was a lot of communication. And I'm noticing it in this this set of weekly readings as well, that there's just like a lot more communication energy. So we could, it could just be that we're clearing all the retrograde energy. So we're communicating more and we're talking to people more and, all that other stuff. So I like it. You have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is a card of conviction. It says when you know that something is for you, then it's for you. So I always look at this card as a card of believing, kind of like working on your beliefs. Now with the Three of Wands, I'm going to say it again here, Aquarius, and I know I say this to you all the time, but what are you waiting for, Aquarius? We go up from the Seven of Wands to the Three of Wands. Three of Wands is my card of like waiting. Or it's my card that says, what are you waiting for? And that you need to take a leap of faith. Luckily, it's coming up in the good stuff. So I do feel that you could be kind of like taking a leap, or you could be kind of finally like making a move on something in your life. And I would just do that. Seven of Wands, he just feels unprepared. So, he feels like he had to rush into something. And, there you go. With the Knight of Swords, you have the Seven of Wands. So again, feeling rushed, right? And didn't I say this to you recently? It's like, I do feel like Aquarius needs to make a move. I think I said this in your May reading, if I'm not mistaken. I get the same feeling in this reading here. Again, I think rushed decisions are always bad decisions. So I wouldn't say, I'm not telling you to rush. But what I am saying is that an opportunity isn't going to hang around forever. And the Knight of Swords, Two of Swords, Six of Swords at the top there could say that really you are prepared, really you are ready, but you might just be lacking detail. This is like the fear of the unknown, right? Is kind of Two of Swords, Knight of Swords, Six of Swords, because on the Six of Swords, they are going into the unknown. They are going across those choppy waters for the hopes of a brighter future, which means nothing. They could get over to that new island that or the calmer shores that they're heading to, and it could be like a tribe of cannibals, right? So they don't know. They might be going to a place that is much worse than their current situation. But really, they will be able to handle it. They have all those swords, right? They could defend themselves from the cannibals here in our imaginary island. With the Page of Pentacles, you have the Hermit. You could be attracting a little bit of a hermit. I also feel if you do want love, you could be attracting someone that you're surprised is actually interested in you. It's not not like in the sense that you're putting yourself down here or anything, Aquarius, but just maybe you're just surprised. Maybe you're like, oh, I had no idea this person was actually interested in me. So they might keep it. They might be more of a reserved person. Is kind of what I'm getting off of this Page of Pentacles. They could also be a more private person, just in general. There might be a good reason for that. I always use the example, if you're interested in your boss, then, usually there are, rules against that at work. So, and, it might be one of those things where it's, kind of a little bit hidden, and I do feel that. With this Seven of Wands twice, and, with all these Wands cards, the King and Queen of Wands mostly, there is definitely something here about you needing to be more bold and assertive and really shine your inner light. He has the Star, which is your card, in his lantern right here, but he's keeping it hidden in that lantern. He needs to shine that star out all over the place. He needs to get attention on what makes him special, and I definitely feel that's true for you here, Aquarius. With the Seven of Wands, you have the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords could definitely be a victory or a big success coming in here. More communication as well. Ace of Swords is a card of communication. The Ace of Swords is about like staying focused. I kind of do feel that there is a lot that is messing with our focus right now, especially Neptune changing signs, being in Aries. It's going to retrograde into Pisces as well. So it could just be that we need to like pick a lane. We need to pick one thing and like make it happen. So, that's definitely something I would focus on here with the Ace of Swords. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this deer spirit says, bring a gentle touch. You have this brown bear spirit says, take time out. Yeah, I feel that we are going to be in a time of balance. Like, well, one thing is I'm kind of speaking a little bit farther into the future, like next year here, Aquarius, but it's kind of one of those things where, we are going to have to balance things very well. There will be times next year, especially starting like next year, I think, where we are going to have to work hard. But there are also going to be times where we're going to need to know when to stop and take a break. And because if we don't, we will pay for it. If we do, then, we will balance our energy. So I think, it's a really great time to like listen to your body. If you feel tired, then, be tired and go take a nap. If you feel like you can work, then take advantage of that as well and work. It's like I always say, like, people think I do, I have multiple channels, multiple businesses, and people are always like, how do you do all this stuff? You must be working 24/7, but I don't. Really, like my secret is that when I am motivated, I really work. Like I really eliminate all distractions and I'm focused on exactly what I'm doing. And then when I need a rest, I take a really hard rest. So, I think it's more this right here that's going on. It's about knowing your limits. And I feel this is encouraging you to learn your limits. And, maybe this year that's what you're doing is like you're learning your limits so that next year when there's like more fiery energy, you can know your limits. You have the Six of Swords, the Lovers, and the King of Wands. Six of Swords is moving on to calmer shores, kind of getting across these choppy waters. So definitely heading towards improvements. I do feel there could be a lot of improvements coming up for you in the very near future. So if you are looking to improve or trying to improve, I feel you are just making improvements here, Aquarius. I really have nothing else to say. You have the Lovers. Could be love coming in for you. Definitely could be a fire sign with all this fire in here. If it's not a fire sign, I would say it's a very fiery person. But, fire definitely stands out to me. The other thing I always tell people is, like, for love, I think people should really look at their moon sign. So it could be, like, someone with, like, a fire moon sign or, even Venus and Jupiter as well is a great place to look. So it could be, like, a person who has fire planets and those signs as well. But definitely could be a perfect match with the Lover's energy. I also feel that some of you could be making a new choice. So if this is not about love, and even if it is, I feel sometimes that the Lovers is like picking the new path or picking the new direction. I always say that usually if you're trying to make a decision and the Lovers comes up, usually the new path is the correct path. So if you're thinking about two different things, then pick the new thing. You have the King of Wands. It's almost like you need to be confident even when you're not with the King of Wands, which I do think is kind of like true in life. I am a big fan of irrational self-confidence, like really believing in yourself, right? In that sense. Sometimes I think it can get us into trouble, of course, but I feel that if you are being irrationally self-confident in the right areas of life, it will probably serve you better than not. So I do get a little bit of that like irrational self-confidence energy on him as well. Obviously, it could also be a fire sign that you're attracting. With the Six of Swords, you have the Judgment card. Yeah, like a rebirth, understanding your purpose. But again, you're going to have to cross through that. These people had to die, right? They had to face that fear. You have the Knight of Swords, which, again, I feel between the Knight of Swords and the Six of Swords, there's like a little bit of space right here. Like this line right here is a little bit of fear, right? So I feel the Judgment card is kind of like, it's like that moment you jump out of an airplane. It's like at first you're crapping your pants, but then when you kind of reach a certain velocity, you're fine, and then you can pull your parachute and kind of float down. But it kind of is like the drop on a roller coaster. Maybe that's a better way to put it. It's like you are this. That's what's going on here in between these two. Is like you're having that drop on the roller coaster type of feeling, and I feel like once you answer the call to move towards this, the Three of Wands, expansion, growth, something new, whatever you've been waiting for, then things are going to get a lot better. Here you go. With the Lovers, you have the Six of Swords. You could be moving on to like just a better connection. Like if you have been single for a while, or if you've been looking for a while, you could just be moving towards someone or something better. If you're looking for something, maybe you've just been in this in-between time, like in between, in the choppy waters, and now you're getting to like a stronger connection. With the King of Wands, you have the Six of Cups. Yes, you have 2 sixes. Well, actually, technically 3 sixes right here, but 2 different ones here. I love 2 sixes because 2 sixes are like confirmation for your path. They kind of say that you're heading in the right direction when they come up together like this. And they also are kind of like confirmation for whatever you're thinking about with that Judgment card. So really, that's all I get. The Six of Cups is great for new love as well. A lot of people read it as old love. I don't. I think that it can represent thinking about the past, but that's it. Six of Cups can be like a new soulmate. So like I said, good. This reading is good for a little bit of everything. Next, in the area of the good stuff, I love this card. You have this new life card. This lady is being lifted up on this pedestal. So, again, could be a beautiful new life. You have this time to go card. So, yes, the time to go card is like my purgatory card. It says you've been waiting long enough. Now it's time to go through that doorway that's at the back of that card. And you have the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands basically says the same thing. It's like you've been looking at a solid opportunity for long enough. Now it's time to like get on those boats and go on an adventure, whatever this opportunity is. Like I always say, this card can say, what are you waiting for? He's standing where he's always been, but there's like a big opportunity in front of him. It's a little exhilarating. It's a little bit more exciting because he has no freaking clue where those boats are going. Like I said, that's why he's not getting on the boats right now, because he's like, oh my God, if I get on those boats, I'm going to have to learn new things. I'm going to have to do something new. It's like, yes, that's where growth happens. So whatever new opportunity you're seeing or whatever you've been thinking about for a long time, it's time to act with this card. You have the Four of Cups. Four of Cups is a card of contemplation and apathy. It's also a card of thinking the grass is greener on the other side. I feel like saying the grass is greener on the other side. So, it's coming up in the good stuff, which is going to make it good. And I feel if you are thinking about making a change in your life or moving on to something new or doing something different, this really is saying like, yes, the grass is greener on the other side. So if you've been wondering about a decision or a choice, I would say, yes, it is better. You have the Page of Wands. Page of Wands is about having fun. It's kind of like a little obvious now. Page of Wands comes up for like everybody, and has been coming up for everybody for like the past 2 or 3 weeks. I feel the universe is trying to get people to be less serious. The energy has been too serious. I always say like the energy is like a pendulum. You've probably heard that before, but it's like once it gets to one side, the universe needs to bring it back to the other side or bring it back to the middle. And so I think we're all being pushed to be more playful, be more joyful, have more fun, all that stuff. With the Three of Wands, you have the Queen of Cups. Yeah, this is about following your heart, which is probably the hardest thing to do right now. We have Uranus and Taurus. I think, according to Chris's crappy astrology here, Uranus and Taurus is all about following your heart in some ways because it's about true freedom, but we can only get true freedom by doing what our heart wants us to do. So, that's pretty much what I would do with that card. With the Four of Cups, you have the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, definitely could be new love. This could literally say that, like, if you are attracting someone new here, that they literally are better compared to past connections. This could also represent good news coming in for you as well. He's receiving, like, an offer. The Page of Pentacles sometimes, I feel, can just be good news or, receiving news about something. So you could be getting good news. With the Page of Wands, you have the Death card. Yeah, nothing will ever be the same here, Aquarius. I feel like there's a big change going on in your life. You have that Judgment card. You have this card. Even the Hermit, he needs to come down from the mountain. He's been through a big transformation, but now he needs to come down and kind of like show the world what he's made of. So definitely like some big changes that are happening in your life. And, obviously this is going to be good for you, Aquarius. But let's see what else comes up. You have this Throne card. It says position of authority. I'm pretty sure that I've been telling you it's time to take the lead in your life. I'm pretty sure. And so this could be you taking authority over your own life, which would be great, of course. You have this bad card. It says something important such as a new job or a raise. Love it. Definitely could be getting your bag this week, Aquarius. Work looks really good. I mean, Page of Pentacles simply could just be something new. The King of Swords can be like a boss or a mentor as well. It could be any gender, like whatever your boss is. But, you could be like receiving an offer from your boss, or you could be receiving an opportunity from your boss. And I think all that would be great with this energy. You have this cat card. It says a two-faced friend. I am pretty sure I've been telling you to be careful of a person. I don't think this is like a bad person, really, but I do think that it's a person who is like covert. It's like, the type of person who has like covert contracts. If you don't know what covert contracts are, it's like people who do things because they're expecting something, even though they never tell you what the contract is. So it's basically like people will do nice things for you, and in the back of their mind, they are saying, in the future, this person will do something nice for me because I did this for them. But meanwhile, you have no clue that you have entered into this contract. So I would be careful of people like that, and you probably know who these people are. You have this apple card that says temptation will test you. Yes, I almost said it at the beginning of the reading. There's like a little bit of devil energy this week, I feel, and I only just noticed it in like the last reading I did, where it just seems like is it really bad? No, but I think that Knight of Swords, Six of Swords, it's like there could be like little things that happen this week where it's almost like the devil on your shoulder that's saying like, oh, just, stay in your old life. Just be lazy. Just do this because it'll be good. It'll be better. You won't have to face these fears, right? That's the type of temptation that I would be avoiding, is like that little voice in the back of your head that says like, oh, you don't have to do this right now. You can just go watch Netflix for another 18 hours straight and you'll be fine. Don't listen to that voice. You have this cracked cup card. It says dissatisfaction with life. Funny enough, I always say I really like this card because, I think dissatisfaction is the thing that like motivates us to be successful. So a lot of you actually could be feeling more motivated because of dissatisfaction. But this looks really good, Aquarius. I really like this for you, actually. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.